welcome to Should I Buy This Game featuring Fromage. My name is Christine, and in this video I'll give you an overview of how the game is played and then share a few things I may like or dislike about the game to help you decide if you want to add Fromage to your collection. Here we have the game Fromage, and this is a game that rotates. It has 4 quadrants, and each time you're going to rotate it. Now, I just want to point out one thing. We have sort of misplaced this part in the middle, but this is where you come to gain resources. And so we've put a resource token on each of the areas. This is where you would get berries. This is where you get the little barns, the little goats and cows, and here you would get order cards. So I'll talk about more of how that plays when we get to the gameplay, but I just want to let you know, normally there's a little square that would go in there, and it's just for the different resources. The other thing I want to mention is we're set up for a 1 or 2 person game, but there's these little inserts for 3 and 4 people, and they're double-sided. And all they do is they block off areas depending how many people are playing. So in the board, in the game right now, we're set up for the 1 and 2, and you can see there's more places blocked off. And the other thing I want to mention is all the player boards are actually slightly different. So you'll notice that there's always a place where you can put your token, but you're going to get a different benefit depending what board you have. As well as there's always a place on the edge to get points, but again, you're going to score depending on what board you have, as well as the middles. So everything is slightly different. And then on the boards as a whole, we'll look down here. This is where you put your barns, and depending how many barns, you get the benefit. This is where you place cows, 2, 3, 4, or 5 cows. And in doing so, you're able to produce another piece of cheese on a turn. And down here is where we keep our berries, and whether you used it as a berry or used it as jam, because when you score, it's how many berries times how many jam will be how many points. And then down here in the corner is where you keep your order cards, and you score based on how many cards you succeeded in fulfilling. So now we're going to change position a bit, and I'm going to show you how the game is played. So I'm now going to get into how Fromage is played. And we have 3 characters. Now this one here only makes blue cheese. This one makes white cheese, and this one makes the yellow or orange cheese. Here on our board, we start with 2 starting resources, depending how the board is set up. And I ended up with 2 barns and an animal. So I'm going to put my 2 barns here, and that allows me another place where I can place one of my workers to get another animal. So if we look here, we're in the village. And so this is about majority, like area majority. So whoever has the most of their cheese in an area will get the little people token. And then depending on the tokens you have, they are worth different amounts of points. So by placing it in the corners, you're on a few different areas. So I may want to do that since it's my first turn and I have all 3 players. This one here is in the white cheese, and it's gold. You'll notice it's gold, there's bronze, there's silver. And you'll also notice that they all point a different direction. And that's going to be how long it ages and how many turns until we get that player back. And so as we go, I'll be pointing this out. So here I want to do the gold one. So you put your cheese, I'm the black player. So I'm putting my black cheese there, and because it was on a white, I take my white cheese person and place them on top. And that is how you make cheese. Now up here is our resources. So maybe I want to get, I'm going to maybe get 2 berries. So I'll use my yellow-orange guy. It goes there. And from the resource, the stock stuff, I'm getting 2 berries that I put onto my little mat there into the basket. Now I still have 1 person because I can only make 1 cheese and get 1 resource. And that's why this one's good, because now I can put him there and I can get myself an animal. So I now have 2 animals. So I'm getting closer. I could make a white bronze cheese on another turn if I want at this point. But I'm going to leave them off until I decide what type of cheese I'm going to make. And that would be the first round. Now everybody is doing this at their own segments. So everybody is playing this game at the exact same time. Then once everybody's done, we rotate it and we have a new area. Now if we come down here from this point of view down here, looking at our people, you'll see that this guy has his back to us. That means he's not ready to come back yet. This person is facing that way, so he's not ready to come back yet. So we only have this one on our player board is facing us, and they're like, I'm ready to make more cheese. So this time I only have this one worker, and it is a blue cheese. So in this one, it's all based on how many pieces you have here. The more cheese you have, the more points you get. So in blue, you'll notice, oh, it's not how many pieces, it's how it's connected, how your pieces are connected. And you can use these if you're making gold cheese. They'll connect to more areas. So it's how many pieces connect in a row that you have here. So I have my blue cheese guy, so I can really only make one of these. Now you'll notice this jam. A jam needs a berry, and we got that berry the last time. So I can use this berry to make a jam, and it's bronze, which means I'm going to get him back. So I'm going to put it there. Now the thing with making a bronze is that I'm not connected to any of these. So if I want to get connected, the next time I come around, I'm going to want to make a gold cheese or a silver cheese. But for now, I'm going to make a bronze. Now, because it was jam, I took my berry from my basket and I'm putting it on the jam. So as I mentioned before, it's how many berries I have here times how many here to get the points. So I'm going to be keeping track of how that weighs out. So again, we are done. So as long as everybody else is done, we're going to rotate it. And we're going to come back down to look at our people. So you'll notice that this guy here that we just placed, because it was bronze, is like, I'm ready to make more cheese. So he'll come home. And then this guy that was collecting berries is now ready because it's facing us. And so he's now ready to join us. That guy is still facing away and we don't have him back yet. So on this one, it's by how many shelves you put your cheese on. This top shelf gets you 2 resources on this side or 3 points on this side, and they're all gold. So it's going to take 3 turns to get that player back. This one here, this gets you 1 resource, and this one gets you 2 points on this side, and down here you can exchange your resource or get 1 point. So this is silver and this is bronze. Now, because I know I'm going to get that other guy back soon, I think I might go with silver. I have blue cheese and I have my yellow cheese. So maybe if I go here, I will put my cheese there, silver, and that gets me 1 resource, and I'm going to get an animal for my 1 resource. Now I still have this guy available, so I can put him here at any time, and I know I'll get him next time, and that will get me yet another animal. So I'm up to 4 animals, which means I have a lot of options when it comes to the type of cheese I can make. So that one is done. We're going to rotate. So when we come down to look at our people, we'll notice that this guy that we just placed is ready to come home. And now finally, this guy here we placed on the first one is facing us, so we can now bring him home as well. So I now have 2 workers to work with. That guy there, he's facing away, and on our next turn, we will get him back. This one is based on pairs. If you have a pair, both cheese at the same table, then you get different points depending on how many pairs you have and if it's a bronze, silver, or gold cheese. You will score differently. So that is why I like to have my cows available to me. So I can possibly make one of these other cheeses at the exact same time. So I have a blue cheese worker. I have a blue cheese worker and a white cheese. So I'm going to look here. I do have a berry. Now I can make a blue cheese gold. So I could make a blue cheese gold with my cows and then make a blue cheese bronze with my worker. So if we look down here, if I have 4 cows, I can make a blue cheese gold. So I'm going to put all my cows there. I take this and I'm going to put it here because it's gold, it's facing that way, and it's another jam. I did have another berry available to put on the jam side. So this was my free turn because I used my resources to make that cheese. So now with my worker, I'm going to do the blue cheese bronze, so I'll get that worker back, which means that this guy can go for maybe 2 resources because I know I'll be getting the other guy back as well. So I will get 2 barns that I will put here, and then that will be my turn. So we rotate one more time. We're back where we started. We come back down to see our workers. This guy here is facing us, so we bring him home. And this guy way back there is facing us. And so we bring him home. This guy is facing for the next round. And then we would continue and play a round again. But that is how the game is played, how you get your workers, and how every single person is doing it at the same time. So when it comes back around, there's going to be other pieces in your way as well, depending how many people are playing. There's also a solo mode with the game, and it is on the back of the player boards, and you have different levels, level 1, 2, 3, and 4. And as you go up, you're adding more pieces of cheese to place. You're now scoring your fruit. You're starting at higher scoring numbers. So it's going to just be more and more points for the solo mode. And then what you do is you use the order cards, which I haven't really shown you. So you draw an order card and you would put a piece of cheese at the white gold spot. If that isn't available, then the card goes onto the board and it's worth a point at the end of the game. And so it's fairly straightforward on placing the cheese. Because I'm never one to care about the points that the solo mode gets, I like to just play on level 1, and it's just basically putting cheese out to block where an opponent would put the cheese. But that is the solo mode for Fromage. Overall, we really enjoyed playing Fromage, and a few things we really like is the fact that everyone's playing at the same time. So as the board moves, people are placing their things, and you're moving on to the next one. The other thing is that there is still strategy. Because of the players being either 1, 2, or 3 turns away, you're always looking ahead at what's coming up. So for example, in this one, this is a really great place to score points. But if, say, somebody else has placed blue cheese here, and by the time you get around, you only have your blue cheese worker, you won't be able to actually place anything down when you're playing a 1 or 2 player game. There's only 2 spots for blue cheese. So you have to be looking ahead to be like, which cheese do I need for the next things coming up in my second and third turns coming up. So there's that strategy about it, as well as where can I get the best points? Where do I want to really focus? And maybe there's areas you're going to pass over and use your player just to get the resources in the middle, and then save the player to make cheese at your next spot. So you're always thinking where you're planning on putting people, which cheese makers you need at which points in the game, which makes it very interesting. So now a few things we dislike, I guess. Dislike is a strong word, but anyway, with the game, is one with the board. I find that even when you do have the square here, some of the pieces feel like they're going to sort of pop out. I wish they were sort of somehow snapped together a bit more so they weren't so flimsy like that. The other thing is we just recently found out about this little wooden piece, and that does actually help a lot with turning it. I don't know why it took me so long to realize I had that piece. Now this board is actually sitting, I'm just going to take it off so you can see, it is sitting on top of a mat. Now I don't know, we have the deluxe edition, so I don't know if this mat comes with all boards. But you can see with the puzzle pieces, it sort of just snaps together, but I just wish it would snap together a bit more. You just sort of do that to put it together. The other thing with gameplay is that the game ends when a player runs out of all their cheese. So you have to be watching your opponents, because some people may be placing cheese everywhere and using the cows to place extra cheese, while others may be skipping over areas and focusing just on a couple specific areas. So one person might run out of cheese a lot quicker than somebody else. And once they run out of cheese, the game is triggered, and only we finish out so everybody gets the same. I think, oh, well, everyone obviously has the same number of turns because you're all playing at the same time. So it triggers the game end. Maybe you get one more turn. And then the last thing I just want to mention is we felt that some of the areas doesn't allow you the opportunity to score as much as some of the other areas. And so everybody's always wanting to go to a couple of the specific areas because that's where you can gain more points, where some of the other areas you aren't able to gain as many points. But overall, as I said, it's a really great game. Because everyone plays at the same time, it plays really quick. And it's just a new fun concept to play. And it's cheese, which is a lot of fun. So let me know in the comments if you have played Fromage and what you think of the game.